Welcome back to the Center Overwatch Thursday night game. Tonight we have Center College versus the Purdue University White team, and this is the second game that they will be playing in their new league, and we will see how that goes tonight.
It's been some serious and interesting changes that we've made with the team, with the loss last week, the first of the season, but, you know, we're just getting ready. We are just getting the feet wet here in this new division, Porter.
Yes. I think that Center has a good chance against this team tonight, and we saw them warm up into this new division at the end of the last game, where we saw them win that last map and really get into the swing of things. So hopefully they can bring that energy again tonight and win against the Purdue White team. And the game is about to start.
Interestingly enough, Purdue has 8 Overwatch teams. We have played a couple in the past division, and now we have moved up to playing Purdue White here in our new division.
Yes. Purdue has those 8 teams, and we only have the one, so we've got all our best players on this one, but I don't know if Purdue has all of their best on theirs.
We're starting off on Elios today, obviously. Center Esports. Here, the Colonels have made an interesting sweep around the right-hand flank.
And per the usual, we are playing a control map for the first map of the game, and it looks like that Center has secured that objection point and is holding it down.
Yeah, that was a quick push. This is reminiscent of the Center College team that we are typically used to watching. Making a quick push for the point and then holding the opposite team back away closer to their starting location.
And it looks like Center has gotten their mojo back. They are picking off the other team's players and preventing them from reaching, and then the supports are coming in and providing healing for those who need it, and then Center is regrouping.
Wow, Porter. Did you see that? Jellyman, a little bit of waste of his ultimate there, but, you know, not much you could do when you knock out your entire opponent's team.
Exactly. They are all working well together, and they are almost at 50% complete with the objection point.
Looks like Vector has his ultimate here. Let's see where we are going to go with that.
And Vector has gotten 1 elimination.
2 now.
And 2 now.
A great amount of a great use of his ultimate there from his Genji.
Vector is an amazing Genji player, and we've seen this time and time again. He has amazing control over the character and can get kill after kill, and that really shows through on these control points where Vector will go ahead and kill 1-2 as many of the other players as possible and then regroup on back.
Well, unless we're waiting for a late-in-the-game push from Purdue White, we are getting close with 15% to go in this first round. That was a great move from Crow, who is playing Reaper tonight. A great use of his ultimate.
Around half of the Purdue White team is eliminated currently, and Center is secured the map. The objective has been scored.
Porter, I was happy to see that. That was a great warm-up round. I don't know if Purdue White knows really what hit them.
Let's see, because that is the Center that all of the viewers and I are used to, and you as well, and I believe that they can bring that throughout the rest of this game and into the weeks to come. However, I think Purdue might have been relying that they played a little bit like last week, or that they sort of got a little beaten down from last week, but Center's bringing their A game, and if not better. So let's see if they can get this objective point again.
Well, Porter, the inside scoop on Center College's Colonels here is they've spent most of the last week with direction from their senior leadership. They've been running 2-a-day practices every day since their loss last week. They really were upset about that, really wanted to get back to the team that they knew they could be.
That's what I've heard as well. I hear that some of the Center Overwatch players have been grinding late into the night, prioritizing winning in this match over maybe even sleeping or eating at times.
You know, food really is irrelevant when it comes to esports.
As long as you have some meal replacement, you can game all day and all night.
That's true. With the new wellness program, that is definitely something we'll be seeing. Heightened esports ability playing with our nutrition systems.
It seems that Purdue now is pushing back a little bit harder than they did with that first objective point, but
I Has anybody? They're playing with a vengeance. They're coming back. It looks like they've secured the point first with a couple 7% on the board. Let's see how Center College can rally.
This is nothing Center can't handle, and it looks like they have regrouped and are pushing in. Let's see if they can reclaim this objective point.
You know, Porter, this round of Helios is just a little bit more difficult. That hole in the center adds for a little bit of strategy that changes the game. You got a wide open death zone right in the middle of the capture point. It limits the size of the capture ability. It really does.
It's difficult to get to that capture point as well because you are winding in and out of these benches or these buildings and these fences. So it seems that Center is in that objective point and is contesting it, but we'll see if they can push Purdue out.
It looks like they are working on a capture here. We've got it.
And
just shy,
yes.
Just shy of 50% for Purdue White. Let's see where Center goes with it.
And let's see these kerns hold this point. They're now pushing forward and pushing Purdue back in order to prevent them from reaching the point. We've got Galvanijo on Wrecking Ball, and looks like he's about to cause some damage.
We can really give credence to Center's leadership team, both Crow and Jay Bubble, founding members, and strong players here. Last week they helped lead the defense in the last round, and this week it looks like they are doing a great job at pushing back the Purdue White team.
Purdue White has recaptured that objective point. It appears that this round of this match might be a little closer than we were thinking, but Center is pushing forward and giving it their all.
That is why we show up to watch these things. A nice close match. But hopefully Center can pull something out here as they try to break this stop from Purdue White.
If Center wipes the board every time, it wouldn't be as interesting to watch, but Center likes to keep us on the edge of our seats.
Wow. They are really putting a strong defense on this one, Porter. We're closing in. We're now 89, 90% from Purdue White. Center College, we're looking for a push. We've got 3 eliminated currently and 3 pushing back with Crow and Jellymane working support. Still alive. Our team, they just can't get a full team resupply here on the point. A little spread out.
Yes. Overtime is almost done, but it looks like Center is pushing it and trying to overcome and maybe recapture that point. But Purdue is giving us the
we're about
works
to run out
a little bit.
It looks like Galvanijo really took that point, kept the overtime in the game. We have lost. We are currently 1-1 here, ladies and gentlemen. 1-1 here on the scoreboard for this first round.
Yes, that was a very close match for Center College, but hopefully in this next round, Center can secure that point and keep it for the whole match. And we are back and running yet again. Center is approaching the objective point with all of their might and fury, and hopefully we can see them secure that point first once it unlocks in around 10 seconds.
You know, some teams would rush straight to that point, Porter, but we can see a professional level of skill here from the Center Colonels as they play off until the point has opened. The point opened originally, they got a couple eliminations, and we have an early capture from the Center Colonels.
And until the opposing team retreated, we were seeing Center use the terrain to their advantage by moving behind those walls and around those corners in order to avoid getting injured or shot at all.
One thing we can attest here to some early success in this third round is Crow's return to Hanzo. We saw great success last week as he helped mount a defense, and we're looking for some incredible play from one of his best characters here. Something that we are proud of here at Center College is our liberal arts education, which, spreads into esports. As you can see, our players are very versatile and can play a number of different hero classes. That comes in very handy as a team who is flexible, quick, and understands the other team's strategy and can match that with relatively ease, Porter. It really is relative ease for them.
Right now, we saw Purdue White try to take that objective point, but Center, Galvanijo specifically, kept them off, and until the rest of the Center team could respawn and come on back.
That was a great play on his ride.
Yes.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
We saw him defend that point like his life depended on it, and it worked out. We haven't lost that point yet.
It really did. Oh, that was a great play from Vector's Doomfist.
Center can feel that the pressure is on for them to hold this point, and all the players are going into overdrive right now.
They really are, and they really are in overdrive. This is a Center College team that is playing well, very well together. It looks like we're about to have a capture from Purdue White. That's their first capture of this round.
Center has time to recapture the point and complete this round, and we'll see how they attempt to go now that they're on the offensive to reclaim the point instead of defending it.
Following now, we see Crow with his Hanzo, just a wonderful player to watch. So much fun, so much talent here in this senior player. He has his ultimate ready to lock, and he's going to use that well. We saw it last week with that strong defense we've mentioned a couple times now, and I think he is waiting for the opportune moment to release.
Crow's ability to pick off players with those arrows is unlike anything I've seen before, and he does it with grace and with exceptional accuracy. Center is now approaching the point with Galvanijo giving that much needed defense, and they are now moving inside in order to reclaim that point.
Patience really is a virtue, and with Center's team here, they've chosen to wait a good 55% until to move on the point until the time allows. It really is a virtue that it goes underwritten here in this game of Overwatch, and Center's players, I would say they are a patient group.
Yes. Center's players know not to rush in if they are the only one there. They know to wait until their team is collectively as a whole there to back them up, because rushing in alone means an easy elimination and getting wiped off the map, whereas as a team they are much, much stronger together.
We're getting a little close. It's looking like we are making a push for a grab back on this point, and we almost got it. We have it. Ladies and gentlemen, Center College has retrieved the point, pushing Purdue off and back away towards their spawn zone.
We have 4 Purdue players now eliminated,
with 2% to go. Ladies and gentlemen, that's another point for Center College.
Roll Kerns.
Roll Kerns.
It seems that Purdue White and Center are very evenly matched, but it looks like that Center is giving it their all, and hopefully they can put their best foot forward and continue this energy onto the next couple of maps.
Porter, that was incredible. It really was.
That
was exciting to watch. I think it's a great mixture of the hard work our Colonel's been putting in and of the difficult nature of this new division. I think they deserve to be here.
They do. They're definitely making their name known as a new arrival, or a late arrival to this division. So they are not a force to be reckoned with right now.
Jellymane really showing out with his card there. That was 15,000. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, 15,000 on that card. You saw that correctly.
Next up, we have Eichenwald on the hybrid style map, and this is where Center can really excel, as we've seen in the past. Eichenwald is a map that they are exceptional on, so let's see if they can show that out today.
They do love it. The boys in the back actually just crunched the numbers earlier today, and on Eichenwald, they happen to hold a defensive position with success 94.76% of the time. Yeah, they ran the numbers. They got the Excel spreadsheet out. That's incredible. That is an incredible percentage. If I could make that much with my grades, I'd be set. I mean, look at we're graduating summa cum laude with that. I'm in. So if these boys can keep that up, I'm all about it.
Our boys in the back are always putting in the work to give us those statistics, and we are always grateful that they are able to.
I'll say it right now. If you are looking to donate, expand this program, the boys in the back, they go underpaid, overworked, but they are really the heart, soul, and lifeblood of this team. They keep the information flowing for you, our viewers, as well as the practice information when our team goes into their strict practicing regimen on a weekly basis. It's really incredible the amount of work they do, and it's a thankless job, the boys in the back.
It is, and even on stream they aren't recognized by name, but they just do it because they love it, and we love them for that. So
we do.
If you want to thank anybody, please thank the boys in the back.
Please make all donations to the boys in the back. They will be appreciative.
So up next we have a little bit of a change in the Center College lineup. However, that is not going to affect how Center plays ever in the slightest. However, if you have been following Blizzard news, you'll know that the character whose James is playing, formerly known as McCree, is now named Cassidy. So whenever it is high noon, it is no longer McCree, but Cassidy instead. But we have that shuffling of players for Center, and hopefully these guys will give it their all.
I know they will, Porter. We had a couple of early interviews with them, just laying the groundwork for some things later to come in the season, and they're just excited to play. They're excited to be founding members of the first co-ed sports team here at Center College. They love what they do, and they will keep doing it.
And they do it well. They are always giving us an amazing match that is exceptional to view and to watch.
No matter. What was that, Porter?
I was going to say, hopefully the next map will be starting soon on Eichenwald, so we can see Center really, really get into it.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I've just been looking at the data that the boys in the back have supplied, but if that predicts anything, and I'm not a gambling man, but I wish I was, and if I were, I would put a lot of money down on this match.
And it looks like we have a little bit of time before the game takes off, around 25 seconds, and then we'll be all good to go.
Our Center Kerns are looking to make a incredible play here on this match.
Last time Center College played on this map, they held their opposing team before they were even able to reach the objective point. So we'll see if Center can do something similar to that again today.
Our Center Colonels really do love to defend, and that is what they're doing here again. I'm excited. Wow. We're off to a delightful start here in about 30 seconds. Our defense is on the map. They're setting up something. They're setting up something stout. That's for sure. That is for sure.
It looks like that Center is actually on the attack. So in the next round they will be defending. However, Center can dominate in both. So we'll see them on the attack first, and they really know this map. So we'll see how they use it to their advantage.
We have a strong team push here right out of the gate, already pushing past the position that they held in the last time they played here. It looks like there's a strong double shield. That's a great play. There's a quick rebuttal here from Purdue White as they push Center back with a couple of quick eliminations.
Looks like that Purdue is holding Center where Center held their last team, but as Center has done before, they know how to employ the strategy that Purdue is using, so they know the workarounds.
As we mentioned, they are a flexible team, our Center Colonels. They can roll with the punches. They can match a defense. They're really all about it.
And it looks like that Center is eliminating one or two of the Purdue White teammates, and they look like they're about to begin capturing that objective point and secure the payload.
Who's James is making a great move with the player Cassidy for the point.
And that is always a good question to ask: is who is James really?
Who?
We don't know.
I don't know. We've asked that a lot here, as you may know.
The boys in the back can't tell us, so we are at a loss for whose James really is.
They ran the numbers. They couldn't figure it out. The math, math never lies. The math is lying today.
Yes. Center has now captured that objective point, and they're now moving forward with the payload, and they're actually going up ahead in order to prevent Purdue White from pushing that payload back in the slightest.
That is a great move by Blakeu and who's James. And here's a push up from their Orisa Galvanijo as well to put a couple shields out in front, but they don't want to get separated, so they're now pulling back to join up with the rest of the team, provide a little extra support. What do we have here? A small skirmish on top of the tower. We're following now to see where this might lead.
It looks like that Purdue was taking the high ground, but is now on even level ground with Center, and they are all going in on each other. That was
Crow's Hanzo that we just saw.
Yes.
Employed greatly to help to keep the point as their players try to regather at the point there.
It looks like the payload is moving backwards ever so slowly, but Center is moving forward, and with grace. We've got Galvanijo out front, putting those bullets into some of the opposing team.
Look at that teamwork. Galvanijo just dropped that booster. We have a lot of damage getting put down on this map right now. The enemy's Rhine just got his shield completely decimated. Incredible work by our center colonels.
The payload is about halfway to the first checkpoint, which is very good for Center, because that means they have around 3 minutes in order to push that to that checkpoint in order to get some more time and then push it to the finish.
That is plenty of time, if you ask me. They made a quick push at the beginning, which allowed them to really double down here and have the opportunity to take that patience that they really like to play with.
Yes.
Like we said, they are a patient team. They don't mind waiting around for the right opportunity. Really whites of their eyes kind of moment.
Center knows that in order to have the right moment, they need to wait, and they do that so well because a lot of the times they will regroup and then come back stronger and then push forward farther than they would have if they didn't wait. Looks like the payload is slowly moving backwards though. However, Center is now regrouping and coming right back up to where they were.
We had a couple of strong pushes back by Purdue White. If we see Center College making a strong play as a team, gathering behind their Rhine, they are looking like they are trying to match them on the terrain, play this map like they know how, try to get the higher, completely take a height advantage, that high ground, completely take it out of the equation.
And they just eliminated 4 of the players on Purdue White.
That was just an absolutely beautiful maneuver.
Hopefully now that they can push forward and recapture or re-get that payload moving forward.
Get things going just a little bit faster. If we can get it up this ramp, like height advantage does play a lot in this game. People don't think about that when it comes to strategy and tactics within video games. But it still does. Pushing up a small ramp is a little bit more difficult. Just aiming, I know they've been doing quite a few aiming drills this past week as part of their doubleheader practices, which is really coming in handy here.
Center has moved the payload past that hill, which is one of the harder parts of this map. So hopefully now that it's at the top, Center will be able to move it forward a little bit more easier.
That's what you really call a kill zone. It's 100, almost 360 degrees of heightened levels around that area. It's a good thing Center got it past.
We see Center moving forward and trying to avoid that kill zone, as you said, Thomas, and hopefully they're going to be able to drop onto that payload and move it forward to that checkpoint and secure at least 1 point for this round.
It is really head-to-head, neck-to-neck. We've got 24 seconds to make it to the next zone. It's going to be tight. We got some great eliminations here from Blakeu. Moving on. Wow, that was just great play. Excellent move, Blakeu.
Center is really giving it all right now, and we are in overtime. Let's see if Center can push forward to that point. It looks like it might happen.
A full team push right here to this third checkpoint. We are close. Will they stop him? I don't think they're going to get him. That was a great pin. Self-sacrifice for a double elimination. That was unfounded. Wow.
Center now has 2 points, and they have more time to work on getting to that final checkpoint. That was amazing. Center putting in the works there right at the last minute.
It's what we needed.
It is. And it is not what Purdue was expecting, as you can tell as they are holding back ever so slightly behind that corner.
We see our one of our best players here, Crow, is on fire. That accuracy, unmatched. That grace, completely dignified per usual.
Those accuracy and shooting trainings that you mentioned earlier can really be seen here.
I know on top of the doubleheader practices, Crow has been getting up early, putting in the late night work. He has really been doing some extra job just to make sure he was ready. I know he was devastated by last week's loss, and as a senior on the team wants to make sure they can do as well as they can. And it is, let me tell you, hard work is what it's about.
And we can see that hard work paying off as Center approaches the final resting place for this payload. However, both teams are working very hard in order for Purdue to keep Center from earning this point, but Center also really wants that point.
Center has 5 alive, Purdue with 1 coming back, 2 coming back from elimination. Now 1, we are in the final push to the end here.
Less than 2 meters away.
3 more eliminations on Purdue, 2 back. We almost have another one. Center is a full team. Their support just working overtime. Our support with J Double as well as Agni Kai doing unprecedented work.
Less than a meter left. We are in overtime. We have basically, and there we go.
That is, wow. That was the Center College we know on attack. I know they're a defensive team, they're a patient team, but they weren't messing around today.
We saw Center a little weak at first. However, they said not today and completely got the upper hand over Purdue, which I think really threw Purdue through the ringer a little bit.
Even with that diva ult, it meant nothing. It meant nothing to Center College's playing ability.
So up next we have Center on defense, which, as you said, is where they really thrive. In the past, we've seen them hold teams on that corner right before they reach the objective point. So let's see how Center performs today, as Center and Purdue White are very evenly matched. As we've seen, these games are neck and neck sometimes, and keeping us on the edge of our seats is why we all really tune in.
I love it. I love the Center Colonels. I love the sport. I love just the camaraderie that is built around events like this.
And as always, roll kerns for that last win, but hopefully we can get another roll kerns on this defense.
I would like to see a shutout tonight.
And we have Center in position, ready to go. We have around 5 seconds left, and then Purdue White will be on their way, and Center will put the block on them.
This is a strong, team-minded defense.
We've got Who's James using his character amazingly well to try to pick off these players, and we already have one down. Center is working together exquisitely right now.
At the onset of the game, especially on defense, it is on maps like this. It is crucially important for your support to keep the team alive. The distance from the respawn zone to the first checkpoint for the offense here is not far at all in reality. But for the defense, it's quite a hike. That's one of the reasons a lot of eliminations on defense ends up turning over a team, and that's really how you lose. That's why it's good to play a little more reserved on defense, like Center College. Play a little bit patient, like they do, just so their healers can keep up to date with the amount of damage they are taking. Right here, we see J Double just really pounding them down as Baptiste, keeping the team alive and making sure that they stay on that point.
Center also uses this building right in the way of the objective point and the spawn for Purdue White exquisitely and exceptionally well, because they make Purdue go around it and then they meet them with full force before they can. And we can really see that now with almost a full team wipe.
One of the strategies that Center College is known for, and I believe 5 times out of 10 are 100% successful, is their ability to separate teams out, string them out to keep that team separated. And then they pounce on them one by one, taking them down, and having a constant turnover rate for the other teams. That is a basic strategy here in Overwatch, is how can we get teams off balance and make them regroup and waste time.
Regrouping is what Center does well here, because they get a couple of the big players out at the beginning, leaving the weaker ones to defend for themselves. And then if they stagger those respawn times, Purdue White has to kill time by waiting for the rest of their team to respawn, which is good for Center because defending right here is a long time. Center has been going at it for a while, and they still have a minute and a half left. So it can get tiring to be defending this place for around 3 minutes in a row.
It is tough to keep that level of endurance going over the course. But I will say Center is definitely an endurance team. Wow, that was an incredible ult from Purdue's Hanzo. That was absolutely nasty. That might get that was a team kill there.
Yeah, that was unexpected and pretty gnarly on Purdue's part, but Center still has 3.5 minutes to prevent them from getting any more points on this map.
That was a tough loss right there. But let's see how Center pushes back after Purdue has scored a singular point here.
It looks like Center is pushing back pretty hard. Center's going for the payload and then pushing past, because they're going to meet Purdue where Purdue is respawning. Because if they can get Purdue fully eliminated and then meet them back at that point that they held them before, then Center can keep them there yet again. But we'll see if Center will be able to accomplish that today.
You know, Porter, Galv really does play a very fast Rhine. Some people sit back and use the shield, others wait on his abilities to come and go, but Galv is really, taking life and going right up to him, jumping around, playing a quick moving Galv.
Galv prioritizes his teammates and the fact that they need defense in order for the team to succeed as a whole. And you can really see that, as you said, with the fact that Galv is constantly out there in the front of the team, putting up shields and keeping the rest of the team safe, as a tank should. We still have that payload moving forward, but I think Center will be able to push it back ever so slightly, as it is now in their court due to the fact that it is now near their respawn and not Purdue White's.
You're exactly right, Porter. It looks like Purdue is employing a method of pulling the team apart, separating, letting a couple of members move the payload while they move up on a little farther ahead to pin Center back. They've done so successfully, moving the payload fairly far. We've passed another checkpoint, and we are currently in the last third of the match here.
Both teams are moving around very, very quickly, making it hard for some viewers and even myself to understand what is going on at this point, but I know that those players really do know what is going on. They are experienced with this game and really
wow,
know.
that was another incredible push from Purdue. Let's see if Center College can grab. Oh, wow. Round 2 is complete.
3-3 for this round.
I'm getting told from the boys in the back that this type of map configuration is one of Purdue White's strong suits. They typically win. They typically have good matches on these kind of fields. So even though Eichenwald is a Center College favorite, Purdue White typically succeeds on payload moving on the offense.
Having two teams which are both very experienced with payload and this kind of map, it's a difficult match to see employed, but Center is giving it their all, and they are not going to let up.
They sure are not. They sure aren't.
And it looks like Center is on the attack again because it is 3v3, so this is now a round to see if Center can get another point.
You know, we saw last round, Center College made a very, very quick maneuver to gain that first point, capture that payload to begin moving. That was definitely to their advantage. If we can see that again here, I wouldn't be surprised if they make a quick play to do something along the same lines.
Of course, Center being tied for the first time this season during a hybrid type map is probably putting some fire underneath them. They are going to give it their all, and they're going to do it well because they really want to get this point and win this map.
It looks like they've got a fat and a fast layout going down. Fat with a PH, that is. Going here with their first push towards the point. Let's see how it goes with the matchup.
They're sticking together as a whole, and they've eliminated 4 now of the opposing team, and it looks like that Center is doing really well.
Center College with excellent defense of that point, with that pushback. Who's James, really? That was a couple of well-placed shots from Who's James's Cassidy.
And Center is holding them there amazingly well per the usual. This is their spot, and they are putting the works per the usual.
This is going to be a tough call here, trying to defend. It is a little bit harder to try and defend a point from capture than maybe take it. I know the hard work is put on them. They've got another minute to go. Let's see, Who's James killed before he can get his ultimate off. That is unfortunate. Crow with his Hanzo looking to do ultimate amount of damage there. That was really beautiful. A couple of eliminations right before he went down.
Both teams are regrouping though. It appears that Center has a couple of players that are holding down this payload in order for the rest of Center to return back.
We have a Sigma and Lucio showdown, which they are well-balanced characters to go up against each other. We have a return of the rest of the Kerns with a point scored by Purdue.
Purdue White wins this round. However, it is now 1 map for each of the teams, so leaving this 3rd map up for grabs to see who can win by the end of tonight.
That is going to make some serious competition here in the last round. I know Center College last week in their 3rd round, with the match already decided, still put up a strong defense. We saw led by Crow. Wow, here are some of the cards. 36 offensive assists. Both Purdue White really put up some strong work there. We could see why they took that map.
Hopefully, as you said, Center will be able to put all of their strength into this last map, just like they did in the last one, because this map will decide the game for tonight, and I know that we all want Center to get that win. We all want that dub on Center's record for this for this 2nd match in their new division.
I think the Colonels can do it. They definitely can. We've seen it before. We'll see it again and again as Center College rises to meet the occasion.
It's just a matter of the fact that all of these matches, even Center losing a couple points, has been so close for this game against Purdue White that I think that Center can pull through on this last map and get this final point in order to secure the game.
Funny enough, Center College football team just celebrated their 100th anniversary of the C6HO win over Harvard. We have reached out to Harvard on a couple occasions to play, but it turns out that they won't accept. And, you know, maybe they say this is because they don't have an official team. That happens to be true, as the boys in the back let me know. But regardless, they won't play us. And I think they are still scared of even losing here in the 21st century as a part of esports.
100 years later, and as you said, they are probably still afraid of us, which explains why we are D3 athletics, because we are just too good for D1.
Call it football, call it esports, whatever it is, Harvard won't play us.
For this upcoming game, though, we have a little bit of shuffling yet again in the Center esports roster. I believe we have Chunky Ghost coming in on tank, and it looks like is the only change
that we will see here going into the third map.
So we have Chonky Ghost on Sigma, and we'll see if that Chonky Ghost can provide the defense that Sinner so needs in order to succeed. Those gears that come together to make the full team really need to work well together in order to pull a win for this final map.
That's definitely true. This final map will be Rialto. I'll tell you now, I was playing this map earlier today, and guess what? I lost. Did not do well at all. That is the reason why I am behind the microphone and not on the team. Also, I'm not a student here, so that would make playing for the esports team a little unethical.
Hopefully Sinner has better luck than you did on this map, Thomas. I would sure hope so.
It is a tough map. With right out of the gate, you've got a killing zone with a bridge to cross, pushing a payload. It makes for a strong defense in the first offset of the game. Moving past that, once you get a little ahead of steam and you move into the courtyard, you have another bridge to cross before turning a crucial defensive corner. Whoever starts off here on offense is going to be hard pressed to break the defense, not once but twice, before they can make their final push to score.
I agree wholeheartedly. Hopefully the match will start up soon, but until then, we can just give the Kerns all the support that we can from here in this streaming room and from y'all at home in the chat.
The boys in the back can actually they can assure me that they're not positive if either of these teams have ever taken a win on this map. We just aren't sure.
It appears that the other team is now ready, and we are entering the map, but we'll still have a little bit before the game kicks off. And we are in the lovely city of Italy with some
that Tuscan sun shining down, the Art Deco or the Art Stucco with the clay tile, perfect for a summer rainstorm, Porter.
The bridges above the canals, the beautiful boats, absolutely gorgeous scenery for what I think is going to be an amazing match.
You know, I wish this weather was sort of more like what we saw today here in Danville, Kentucky. It was a cold fall, rainy, typical of Kentucky at this time of year. Imagine if they were playing in this weather on campus. I'd like to see a Overwatch map on Sinners College campus. Whoever can create that, I'd pay a lot of money for.
Yes, it looks like I think that the defenders are now out, and it looks like Sinner is going to be attacking now. First, it appears, so we'll see how Sinner can handle taking this payload all the way to the end.
Like we mentioned, Sinner's going to have to come out strong, come out fast to push off a couple of strong defensive points that Purdue White might try to employ.
And here we go.
2, 1. Let's see how they play.
It appears that Purdue is up near the back yet again, a little bit on the higher ground, but Sinner is all together and is coming in strong, making this payload go faster right at the beginning. And Purdue is jumping on top of them.
They did play that. They played that dive there from the back in an attempt to catch Sinner off guard. There was a strong pushback. Sinner was gathered right underneath that upper deck there. But we have Galv's Orisa, who made a strong push with a shield, and then another invincibility on herself.
The Sinner has the advantage here, though, because if they do die, they will respawn right near the payload, whereas if they get an elimination on one of Purdue White's players, it'll take a while to respawn and then cross to the rest of the map.
The best thing we can see here is a quick push to the first scoring point. Sinner could really use that here. I really would like to see a full point scored by Sinner College. That would be 3 in this instance. We'll see what happens.
I think that Sinner is approaching that first checkpoint and is pushing through very well. So hopefully we see Sinner get that, as you said. But it looks like things are up in the air right now as both teams are scattering each other and doing it well. And here we have Crow on Hanzo yet again, and Who's James on Cassidy. It appears things have quieted down a little bit, but we will see how things do when they pick back up.
We have the team gathered back up, ready to make another push. It looks like Crow's about to drop one of his legendary Sonic. That's a team play right there. He's waiting for the team to pop back around. There was nobody there. You know, I will say Purdue White is being fairly patient on this match. We have Who's James Cassidy's ultimate just went off. Not much to show with it. So that's all right. Great elimination from Galv.
Here's the center is now dropping down below, just like Purdue White did with them. And we'll see how this strategy works for center.
That is definitely a great comp there. Copy the same strategy, put it back on top of them.
And it looks like it's working well.
3 eliminations, 4 eliminations now. Center College has a great opportunity to push to that first checkpoint.
And it looks like Purdue White is kind of staggered right now. It looks like assorted players have pushed forward without the help of the rest of the team. So if center can pick some of these players off before they regroup, that would work amazingly well.
This is certainly a great opportunity. We see Crow's ultimate, which pushed back. Oh, we had a counter ultimate from the other team's Hanzo. A great play from J Double with an invincibility shield. And we're about to see a damage boost as well. Going in to push to that final. Do they have the checkpoint? Will they get it? I believe they will.
Only meters away. However, they have around 40 seconds in order to get there, and they've gotten there.
That adds another 3 minutes to the clock for a push to the next checkpoint. This will be a hard push with a couple of choke points for the defense.
Yes, and center is moving forward pretty quickly. They have a couple people on, one now on the payload, and the rest are moving forward in order to meet Purdue where they stand. And it looks like
we are really playing off the objective here. As the payload, both teams are held up in this building, pushing against each other.
Both teams are using this map to both advantage themselves, but also to slightly disadvantage themselves because they are not meeting each other super head-on. However, it appears that both teams aren't struggling on this map, but maybe are a little slower.
Center College with 3 of their teammates eliminated, 4 now with a slight misadvantage there. A step into the canal. That was unfortunate, but it will give an opportunity to regroup.
Yes. And they still have a little under 2 minutes on the clock, and they're over halfway with the payload. So Center's doing well as they regroup and progress together up into this building in order to get an advantage on Purdue White.
You know, I am a strong proponent of a great support player, and that's they lay near and dear to my heart. Typically, when I play support. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the kind of person I am. I'd rather heal my teammate than damage another person. But our support, let me tell you, they are incredible. They are just keeping our team alive as we push farther and farther away from our zones of. Wow, their Hanzo on the other team is really doing a number on Center College right now. Let's see if Crow can fight back. We have a couple ultimate ready here with the Colonels. Let's see how they employ with a push as they're getting close to this next checkpoint.
It looks like Center is working together well as a team, and if they do get eliminated, they are taking Purdue White players with them. Very evenly matched, as we said multiple times tonight, but as we see, Crow is really sniping these players down and trying to hold the ground for the rest of his team.
That was a great team play there. Even though he is DPS, he still has time to help out his teammates just a little bit. With a 10-to-1 KD ratio Crow has, that's literally impossible. I don't know how he does it.
We have around 15-ish seconds until this match is over, and Center must capture that objective point or send it into overtime, and it looks like we are close to getting there.
We are close, ladies and gentlemen. They have a strong push. We have 4 eliminated, 3 eliminated. It's going to be tight to get it back in time. We got... they stopped us. They stopped the Colonels there, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like round 1 is complete. Unfortunate. Center College with 1 point scored.
We did score 1 point, so let's see if Center can hold Purdue White from getting 1 point and moving forward in this map.
There's going to have to be a strong push from the defense here. We can already see some of these beautiful architecture destroyed after that first map. Railings, pure marble, absolutely decimated by the carnage of that first round.
Every game, both teams just put the works on these beautiful, beautiful places, and I'm curious on who pays for it every time to rebuild.
Who does pay for it? It's probably the Medicis.
Honestly.
Or Medicis, I don't know, however you say it. It depends on your accent, I heard.
I don't have a very good accent, so I would not know.
Yeah.
The game is about to begin around 30 seconds. Center is moving forward in order to get in their defensive positions and prevent the opposing team, Purdue White, from moving forward. And we'll see if they can do that. But Purdue White is waiting impatiently behind where they are locked away until 10 seconds from now when they are freed in order to get on the attack.
15 seconds to go. I am curious to see what method Center College employs. They've taken the high ground, which seems to be the meta in this instance, but hopefully they can get a quick pushback here and maybe get them off balance a little bit.
It seems that both teams, as you said, employed this higher ground tactic, and when the opposing team got a little too close, then hopped down. But Center is meeting them not above, but in front of, which I think Center can hold the advantage with a little more easily than if they just jump down into the middle of the fray.
We're seeing Chonky Ghost get a couple of quick eliminations here with his Sigma, while still putting down a couple of shield walls, checking that upper level deck there to make sure they don't get the same tactics employed on them that they used to push back Purdue in the first round.
Looks like Purdue has pushed through this building and is moving forward, and Center's having to stagger back in order to keep up with them. We've got a lot happening, and it looks like the Center team is not all together currently as it stands, but
we have a Ryan and Bridget, father and daughter here, ready to stand in strong defense.
The payload is rapidly approaching that checkpoint and is being contested right before.
We have a strong contest right before as the team gathers back together. We just need a couple more quick eliminations. That is the first checkpoint matched.
Looks like a full team wipe from Purdue White on Center. Let's hope Center will regroup all at the same time and then push this payload back as the opposing team moves forward. And Center is moving forward with all of their might. They're all together, which is how they excel. You can see that mark on the ground, and the glowing yellow is where Purdue needs to move past in order to win this round.
There's a strong play of ultimates back and forth. Purdue White with another team wipe. They are pushing quickly. We've got a full team minus Crow. Respawn. Will they make it back to the position before Purdue White gets there? I don't know. It's going to be close. It is going to be close. We have a stop, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we can get a
mere meters away.
Mere meters away. This is going to be a tight game. If Center pulls this off, it will be one for the books.
And it looks like half of Purdue White has been eliminated, but Center is pushing forward, and the payload is moving backwards, giving Center a little bit of room to breathe.
Center does need that little bit of room to breathe. Yes. That is for sure. They were caught in the sweet Saint Nick of time.
If they can come back from these two full team wipes, that is snaps to the skill that Center possesses in this game.
They do excel. Like most Center students, maybe procrastinate a little bit too much. We'll call that heavy on the patience. They wait until the very end, just like they do in the classroom, in their extracurriculars, in most areas of their life. Center students do love to procrastinate.
We can see this work hard, play hard mentality coming in for Center in both, because these guys are working this game, but they also are playing, and they're doing it well.
We saw another 5 of Center's players down, with Agni Kai is the only one still standing. a little ambitious there. It looks like they will push past the point, and that will be a Purdue score.
Purdue capturing this map and winning means that Purdue White has won against Center College for tonight. However, Center did win that first map, and that means that we have never gotten fully defeated, and we always put up a fight. And here is a view from the opposing team's crow on some of his plays.
Park from Purdue White had a strong crow showing tonight. There are not many as good as him. I will say our own crow here at Center College could give him a run for his money, but it was a strong defense from Purdue White tonight. I know Center College got out to a quick dub in the first map and put up a strong play here in the second map, and the third map was strongly in Purdue's favor. But like I said, this is Center College's second match here now in this new division. That's 2 games. How long has Purdue White been here?
I do not know. The boys in the back are struggling a bit to get us that information. However, as you guys can see, all of those matches were so close, and that really shows that Center can work their way up through this new division and get wins later on.
All I can say is those 2-a-day practices that really paid off here. We saw a great push from that first game to this game. I wouldn't be surprised if they employ some 3-a-day practices even. Maybe a morning lift followed by 2 practices throughout the day. Maybe work them in between matches or in between classes.
Of course, a morning lift would keep those fingers all ready to game. But that is it on our end for tonight. Thank you guys for tuning into the stream and showing your undying support for Center. As always, roll kerns, and as I always say, if you have not subscribed to the Center Esports Twitch channel, please do so. We really appreciate the support, and you'll get notified whenever we have a match.
On that note of support, thanks for everyone who turned in last week. We have shown steady growth in our views, reaching a steady number of 69 views last week. I cannot believe it. I would love to see that number continue to grow through the following streams. Tune in next week as we come up with our next game. Follow esports on Instagram and give that Twitch a follow.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that next week we may have a bye, so if not next week, the week after that. But
well, I feel sorry for the team they play after 2 weeks of 3-a-day practices. Unbelievable.
Yes.
We'll be wanting to tune in then.
Thank you, and hopefully y'all will all tune in next time. Have a great night.